Hello guys, in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to use Google Forms to create a questionnaire. Before you start using Google Forms, you should have your questions. You should have written your questions in a Word document, because I think this would make creating the questionnaire with Google Forms much quicker. So you should have your Word document with your questions. And now if you go on Google Drive and you click on New, and there's a drop-down menu here, and you have to choose Google Forms. Give your form a title. So for me, it could be EAP course survey, yeah, and maybe a very short description, and it could be an investigation into students' satisfaction with the EAP course. Okay, so there you've got your title and your very short description. Okay, so Google Form lets you choose from a range of different questions. You're likely to use a question such as, what's your gender, for example? So for these questions, if you click on these dots here, yeah, so it was like this, dots here. And for this is a question where I have two choices really, female and male. So I'm going to choose multiple choice here. And my question is, and I'm going to copy this from my Word document so that I can be quicker. And it's, what's your gender? Now, Google Forms, very clever, is already suggesting me some options, and I'm going to go with female and male. Okay, and I'm going to make this a required question, so because I want to test some a hypothesis that's got something to do with my sample's gender. So that's question number one. And now to add a question, can you see here on the side, I've got this menu, and there is a plus sign, and I can now add a question. My next question is to do with my student's age, and the question is, how old are you? Because I've got a few options here, I'm going to choose drop-down menu. So it's useful to use drop-down menu when you have a lot of options and you don't want these options to take too much space on your web page. So the first option is under 18, and then we've got 18 to 20, and then we could do 21 to 25. And then 26 to 30, and then you could carry on. Okay, so we've got multiple choice here and drop down menu. And again, I want this to be a required question. Okay, so my students will have to must answer this question. Next type, again, add question here. So we've got 1 and 2, and can you see here the asterisk? This signals that this question is mandatory. Next question in my questionnaire is this one. What is your overall rating of the EAP course? I'm going to copy and paste this here. Okay. And again, actually Google is already giving me some suggestions. Now I want to show you a different type of question, and this one is linear scale, and I'll show you what happens here. So we've got 1 to 5. So for me, 5 is, if you chose 5, then that would mean that you really like the course. So just to help my sample, I'm going to write here for 5, I'm going to write excellent, okay? And for 1, I'm going to write poor, okay? And I'm going to make this a required question. So here, this is a linear scale question. Different type now. This one is, we're going to choose checkboxes for our drop-down menu. The difference between checkboxes and multiple choice is that with checkboxes, you are letting you're letting the participants, you're letting them to choose choose more than one option. Okay, so I'll give you an example. My next question is to do with the assignments. So the assignments for EAP, and my first option is are relevant. Are relevant to the objectives of the course. They help me grow intellectually. And then we've got they are not relevant. And last option is the assignments are excessive, like this. Okay, and I'm going to make this a required question. So with checkboxes, I could potentially choose, for example, are relevant to the objectives of the course and also helping me grow intellectually. Okay, so you're letting the people who are filling out your questionnaire, you're letting them choose more than one option. So again, just to recap, we've got multiple choice. This one with a drop-down menu. Let me see why. I'll show you while working while creating your questionnaire. Every now and then, I think it's a good idea to always check what your questionnaire will look like. So if you scroll all the way up, you can see this eye here. If you click on the eye, then you get a preview, okay? And here you can see that number 2, how old are you, is actually, yes, you've got a drop-down menu there, okay? And this is the linear scale, and this is a checkboxes, so I can check more than one. Okay, let's go back here. We've got a couple of more questions. So the next one is a multiple choice grid question. So here I'm going to add a question here, and I'm going to choose multiple choice grid. So my question here is this one. To what extent do you agree or disagree with the following statements? So rows here, I'm going to copy and paste my statements. So the first one is this one. And I'm just copying and pasting from my Word document, yeah. And then we've got, I feel I can engage with my class tutor. Like this. And last one is, I find the course interesting. So this here, you've got a list of statements. You've got 4 statements. And what I want my students to do, I want them to say whether they agree or disagree. So I'm going to give them 5 options. They can strongly agree, they can just agree, they can just be neutral, they can disagree, and they can strongly disagree. Like this. And I'm going to make this a required question. Now I'm going to scroll all the way up because I want to see what my questionnaire, what my questionnaire looks like now. So this is the question that we've just created. To what extent do you agree, disagree with the following statements? So you've got the statements here on the side, and then you've got the options, and so then you'll have to choose. Yeah. Okay. And we can do another one. Again, when I look at my question, and my last question was, how do you judge the quality of the following aspects of the course? So again, you add a question, and then here you choose, and we're going to choose multiple choice grid. I'm going to copy and paste my question here, and I'm going to have the same options: strongly agree, and then agree, and then we have no, sorry, I've got different, actually, I've got different labels here. I want to choose, let's go with poor. And then we could have fair, and then good, and then excellent. So you don't have to always have agree or disagree. Cool. And here I'm going to list the aspects of the course. So it could be, for example, Moodle, and maybe the teaching, my delivery of the session, and then maybe the materials. Yeah. Maybe like PPTs, videos, docs. And I'm going to make this a required question. So now I'll show you what this question is going to look like in my questionnaire, and this is the way. So it's the same type of questions, but instead of having strongly agree, neutral, disagree, I have poor, fair, good, excellent. Yeah. Notice that I could have also used a linear scale for how do you judge the quality of the following aspects of the course. Yeah. What I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to show the different question types that you could use when creating your questionnaire. Yeah. Now, because you're working on these in groups, the first thing that I should have done, now I'm doing this individually, but when working in groups, you want to collaborate. So to do this, you need to go on these three dots here, and you can see a drop-down menu. You should choose Add Collaborators, and here you can add your collaborators, yeah, so that you can work on this together. So once you're done, once you're happy with your questionnaire, and then you will need to send your questionnaire, and you will need to post a link to your questionnaire on Moodle, so that other students from other courses will be able to fill out your questionnaire, and so that you can collect data. Now, you're not going to share this link here, because this is not the link that will let these people fill out your questionnaire. What you need to do, you need to click on send here, this big button here, send. But you're not going to send an email. What you want is just a link. So you have to choose this symbol here. And then you can, or actually this one here, you might want to shorten the link, okay? And then you just copy the link. And now you can post it on Moodle. Yeah, so this is the link that you should be posting on Moodle once you're done with the questionnaire. Okay, how you create a questionnaire.